Mayor of Kingstown Season 4 Episode 8 Trailer, Belleville. Mike lays a dangerous trap while a prison break puts the town in peril. Hobbs extends an olive branch to Mike. A potential betrayal marked the conclusion of the last episode of Mayor of Kingstown. Stevie, Ian, and Mike McLusky created something truly remarkable. They think that Frank Moses arranged for the Colombian Cartel to shoot Bunny. But after Anchor Bay Warden, the Colombians attempted to kill him. This author believes that Frank might not be collaborating with the Colombians because Nina Hobbs made his arrest possible. Can both of these be true? Naturally. However, the likelihood that he is being set up is higher. Back in Anchor Bay Prison, Kyle McLusky is almost sexually assaulted, and possibly killed, by members of the Colombian Cartel. If it wasn't for the Aryan Brotherhood's intervention, he would have been. And while it's obvious that Torres and Hobbs set this in motion, Mike being overzealous with Warden Hobbs is the reason his brother was almost murdered. The next episode should immediately hit on what's next for Kyle. Moses attacks the cartel's shipment. As Kingstown's mayor, Mike is well aware that Frank Moses and the cartel are terrible news and that he must eliminate them in order to restore harmony and balance to the community. However, Mike is playing one against the other since he lacks the strength to defeat these adversaries on his own. When Mike visited Moses in police detention in episode 7, he deliberately informed him that he was positive that the cartel had shot their mutual buddy Bunny, even though we all know that Mike knew Moses had attempted to assassinate Bunny. Moses wanted to say anything at this moment, but he refrained so as not to reveal his involvement. Mike even played the emotional card by warning Moses that Bunny might not see another sunrise. Mike is becoming proficient at these mental games, as you can see. Moses was still taking in this information when Mike immediately suggested that he assault the cartel's shipment in the same manner that they had attacked theirs. CO Kevin Jackson discovered the next shipment's due date in this episode after learning in the previous one that the Colombians had been smuggling cocaine through the fuel tankers. He gave Mike the information, and Mike gave it to Moses so he could make his revenge. In actuality, though, Mike prevailed more than Moses did. He is weakening his adversaries with these strikes, causing them to abandon their plans to conquer Kingstown and return to their rightful place. Mike played Nina. As I previously stated, Mike instilled in Moses the notion that he must target the cartel's next shipment in order to make amends. Although Mike assisted Moses in exacting his retribution, Mike's true scheme went beyond that. He was aware that Hobbs and Torres would be held accountable by the cartel for losing their belongings, so in order to defend themselves, they had to blame someone else. According to what we know about Torres, he would eventually discover that Kevin Jackson was the source of the information leak, which would lead to Cortez pursuing him in the same manner that Torres handled Carney. But Mike had promised Kevin that he would look after him, so he used another trump card to keep his word. He called Hobbs non-stop after the shipment attack in an attempt to turn her against Torres. Mike informed her that someone other than herself had accepted responsibility for the misplaced package. Although Mike didn't take Torres' name, he instilled in her the notion that in order to witness another sunrise, she would need to conduct some damage control. Since Mike believed that only Hobbs and Torres knew about the cartel's activities, Hobbs will have to place all the burden on Torres in order to defend herself. Since only he was aware of the precise time and date of the upcoming delivery. When Cortez visited Hobbs at home at the conclusion of episode 7 to help her understand the seriousness of the problem, Hobbs became frightened and told him that Torres had made the error. He wasn't being careful, she stated, to which Cortez responded that he would visit him. You understand what that means, I suppose. To make sure Hobbs doesn't make the same mistake twice, Cortez will either shoot Torres to death or beat the living daylights out of him. And since Mike told her that it wouldn't, I don't think it will. Because he has already accomplished his goal of eliminating Torres from the picture, Mike will not tell Moses about the next cargo, even if Kevin will somehow learn about it. Hobbs isn't the true danger here, you see. Mike already knows that the cartel has some sort of influence over her because she is using anxiety medications in excess. In this instance, it's her daughter, who she probably transferred to Singapore in order to shield herself from the cartel. On her number, we noticed a few incoming calls. In summary, Mike was aware that Hobbs might be easily subdued, but he still needed to deal with Torres. Mike found a solution to two issues by getting rid of him. First of all, since Torres would not be present to look into his involvement, he would no longer pose a threat to Kevin's life. Second, Mike could be able to regain his power within the prison now that Torres is no longer involved. To be clear, I'm assuming that Cortez will get rid of Torres, but if he doesn't, I'll have a different tale to tell in the following episode.